Right now, let's get to that big bombshell yesterday from President Trump. This morning, some members of the military say they wonder if they've just been fired from their jobs. The president taking to Twitter yesterday saying there is no place in the United States military for transgender troops. Supporters of the president's decision say it will keep troops focused on the job of keeping the nation secure and stop unnecessary spending. Others say transgender people have served this country well in the past and should not be punished in the present as well. Joining us this morning, Mandi Ancalle, the Family Research Council's Government Affairs General Counsel, and via Skype, Matt Thorne, Executive Director of OutServe and Service Members Legal Defense Network. Good morning to both of you. Matt, I want to start with you. Any idea that this decision or this announcement or this tweet was coming?
No, we had no idea that this tweet was coming.
And the first reaction when you heard it, and where do you go from here?
I was quite flabbergasted that this president decided to use social media to say that he wanted to fire 15,000 plus individuals who are serving this country with honor and who have vowed to give their lives if necessary to defend our values around the world. We don't tweet federal policy in this country, so I don't understand where he was coming from with this and in his tweets. So, I mean, quite frankly, I was just taken aback that this was the manner in which he decided to say something on this subject.
All right, so before we get to Mandi, Matt, let me stay with you for a second there, because obviously you're disappointed with the process that this went through. Would it have made a difference if this would have gone through, say, more traditional Washington channels, getting the Pentagon more involved, getting even Congress involved in this as a tweet?
No. I mean, transgender individuals have been serving this country even before the ban was lifted last year. There's been no issues to readiness. There's been no issues to unit cohesion. They're serving honorably, and we have an all-volunteer force that we go out and we ask individuals to serve and protect and defend this country and our Constitution. And we should have the best individuals to do that, which includes transgender service members as well. And the fact that this president is saying we don't want you and we're going to fire you is it's quite frankly deplorable.
All right, Mandi Ancalle, I want to bring you into this from the Family Research Council. Now, there have been rumblings out there. The Family Research Council was one of those organizations who had pushed this decision on the president. It had at least been asking for some type of conversation involving it. What is your take on this? Is it a financial decision? Is this because there is the belief, as I believe Tony Perkins said, that it would be billions of dollars spent? Is it a social issue? What's the background on your part here?
I think it's a privacy issue. It is a cost issue. $3.7 billion is our cost analysis over the next 10 years. And that's using numbers that were put out by LGBT groups like the Williams Institute and the Philadelphia Transgender Surgery Center. So it is a huge cost to the United States, and every dollar counts with regard to how we fund our military. There's a big hiccup right now with regard to the BDUs that were provided to Afghan service members and the cost for that. So we really do need to take a good look at the costs, but it's also a privacy issue for individuals who maintain their biological sex and don't want to be forced into communal showers, which the military often provides with individuals of the opposite biological sex. So it's an and situation here.
Andy, let me touch on the money issue right now, because this RAND study, which has been quoted several times over the last 24 hours, which was a commission study, put that cost more at $8.5 million, not billions of dollars. So where are you coming up with this billions of dollars number?
That's a great question. And like I said, we've actually used the numbers that were put out by, for example, the Williams Institute estimates that about 7,300 males, biological males, and about, I think, 1,300 biological females currently serve in active duty. So this is active duty alone. And we took the percentages that were provided by the Transgender Discrimination Survey and used the numbers that were provided by the Philadelphia Transgender Surgical Center to estimate the cost. And again, that's of active duty individuals, and it's related to surgery and hormone therapy just for those active duty members. That's not, and it does also take into consideration the amount of time that individuals will be unable to participate in work based on how many individuals would want sex reassignment surgery.
Let me jump in for one question, Mandi. And Matt, I'll get back to you in 1 second. Because you mentioned it there, how much of this, Mandi, is the hormonal therapy cost part? If that was simply the focus, if they said, look, we're not going to pay for that anymore, but you can continue to serve, the rest of your health care is covered, would that make a difference?
It certainly makes a difference in the cost. It doesn't make a difference with regard to the privacy and bathing and birthing facilities that the military provides. But it does count the hormone therapy costs for those individuals that seek sex reassignment surgery. But there are a lot of costs that weren't included in that $3.7 billion number. And that doesn't even begin to take into consideration the amount of time that's lost in training. Individuals have already had to put aside a number of hours, thousands of hours, in training on this new transgender policy. So it's definitely a huge cost to our military and a huge distraction from wartime battle-ready service.
Matt, I want to get back to you now because you've dealt with some of these people who are transgender members of the military. First of all, your estimate on the number of transgender members who are there right now, and do you believe this cost analysis?
No, I don't believe the cost analysis, and the estimate is between 6,700 and 15,500 who are currently serving in our military, both active duty reservists and Coast Guardsmen. The RAND Corporation, the one that you just cited that was commissioned by the Pentagon, puts the estimate between $3.4 and $8.4 million per year, which is 0.001% of the overall defense budget. We spend $657 billion a year on our defense budget. An F-35 costs somewhere around $2 to $3 billion per year.
Matt, we're going to run out of time, but I want to ask you, how much of this do you believe is a money issue? How much of this do you believe is a social issue?
This is the president playing politics with this issue. This is nothing more than that. There's no cost. There's no substantial cost that the Pentagon is taking on with this issue, and there has been no issue with unit cohesion or any issue with our commands and our services. So this is pure politics.
Mandi?
I'll just add, if you don't mind, that the cost actually could purchase a Navy destroyer, thousands and thousands of missiles. Like he said, F-35s. Those are the types of priorities that the military should be focused on, not transgender surgery.
All right, Mandi, Matt, I appreciate you both joining us this morning. This conversation obviously will continue. We welcome you both back to continue that conversation at another